We're going to have another catastrophe sooner than later. It'll be bigger than 2008, but the next one's going to be strike three. We've had 2 warnings. They've been ignored. The third time, it's game over.
It's 10 years now since the financial crisis. Will there be another one, and what will be the trigger?
I agree with you.
First of all, 10 years since the last one, is there another on the cards, do you think?
There's definitely another one in the cards. Unfortunately, that's always the case. The 2008 financial crisis, the global financial crisis, was the most severe since the Great Depression. In 1987, the U.S. stock market fell 22% in one day. That would be the equivalent on the Dow Jones Index of 4,000, Dow 400 before 4,000. So we've had these shocks before, but 2008 was the worst. So yes, I think we can fully expect another one just based on history.
If a U.S. economic collapse occurs, it will happen quickly. No one will predict that day. That's because the signs of imminent economic collapse are difficult to see. For example, the U.S. economy almost collapsed on September 17, 2008. That's the day panicked investors withdrew a record $140 billion from money market accounts, which is where businesses keep cash to fund day-to-day operations. If withdrawals had gone on for even a week, the entire economy would have halted. That meant trucks would stop rolling, grocery stores would run out of food, and businesses would shut down. For more, see September 2008 run on the money markets. Fortunately, the Federal Reserve Chairman and U.S. Treasury Secretary noticed the signal and knew what it meant. Ben Bernanke was a Great Depression scholar. Hank Paulson was a Wall Street veteran. Their bailout plan supplied enough cash to stop the panic. For more, see 2008 financial crisis.
The Fed was created to address financial panics, and its independence and its ability to act quickly is a key feature of what the Fed is about. And if we had not done that, and if the financial system had imploded and the economy had plunged into even a deeper depression, I think the populist reaction would have been pretty bad as well. So we were kind of stuck one way or the other. So we did the right thing, I hope. We tried to do the right thing.
Another example occurred during the Great Depression. On Thursday, October 24th, the 1929 stock market crash began. By Tuesday, the market had lost 25%. Many investors lost their life savings that weekend. The Dow didn't recover until 1954. That's how close the U.S. economy came to a real collapse, and how vulnerable it is to another one.
We are in a big, fat, ugly bubble. We have the worst financial recovery in 65 years. In the last 8 years, the past administration has put on more new debt than nearly all of the other presidents combined.
Everything in a way is a bubble, and the currency situation is in a bubble, and that's why there's not room for optimism about the current system.
The global situation has created an environment for financial panic.
The U.S. stock market is going to crash, or the dollar is going to crash.
It's the biggest bubble I've seen in history, and now we have a bigger stock bubble by far than ever, larger real estate bubbles in many cities, and extreme around the world.
So when is this going to happen?
Later this year or next.
Later this year or next.
Write it down.
And how big a crash could we be looking at?
It's going to be the worst in your lifetime.
I've had some pretty big ones in my lifetime. It's long.
It's going to be the biggest in my lifetime, and I'm older than you. No, it's going to be serious stuff.
I think the next crisis is going to kill the dollar.
I haven't seen anything like this probably since just before the last crisis, 2006, 2007. Everybody was optimistic on the market then. That is why the crisis that we're headed to is going to be so much worse than the one that we left behind, because we have bigger problems. We have had lower rates for longer. The bubbles are bigger. There's a lot more air that has to come out. We have been able to go even deeper into debt. We have made even bigger economic mistakes. The economy is even more vulnerable now. The government has more debt. Corporations are more levered. The whole economy now is more vulnerable than it was back then. So if you thought the Great Recession of 2008 was bad, wait till you see what's coming.